Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Big Money Show, brought to you by the team of Big Financial Services. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and joining me in the studio is Glenn Cummings, who is the president of Big Financial Services, and we are so glad that you're joining us. We've got a great show for you today. The title of today's show is Refinancing Your Retirement. Do you wonder what that even means and what it could possibly mean for you? You're going to want to stick with us to find out. Glenn, my friend, I'm excited to be here with you.
All I know is one thing. Let's go! Hey, everybody, I promise you that we showed up to the studio today. She copied me somehow. I think it was like a little, it's like, Glenn, make sure you wear purple today. It's like, I'm in shock. This happens all the time.
I know, we don't ever plan it, and we're just on the same wavelength.
We're just on the same page.
It's
beautiful,
awesome.
Beautiful host. Thank you so much for coming on today. Refinance your retirement is kind of a word that not many people are familiar with. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that. Let's dive into it. Many of you that have been investing in fixed or guaranteed types of investments, right? Bonds, CDs, annuities, right? Interest rates for many years have been very, very low. Mm-hmm. So, a couple of years ago, if you could have gotten a 1 or 2% rate of return on your money, that was pretty good, right? So a lot of people that purchased long-term annuities purchased them at the lower interest rates. And these large life insurance companies, they buy usually 30-year bonds that when they buy them at lower yields or lower rates, they really can't pay us as much on those annuities. So many of you that are out there that have annuities that have not really performed that well, you're frustrated, you're a little mad. You're like, gosh, why in the world am I still in this thing? Or there's costs to get out of this thing, and you just stay in it, right? Look to refinance those, because today interest rates are much higher than what they were just a couple of years ago. The last 15 years, the rates have been very, very low. So today, the life insurance companies, because they're making more money on our money with higher interest rates, with longer term bonds, those companies are offering a lot better plans. In some cases, I've seen people be able to get 20 or 30% more income just by changing from one to the next. I've been able to see people get actually double the returns they were getting on their former annuities with the new annuities. So that's called refinancing your retirement. Refinancing, or getting you out of those old ones and looking for ones that are better with a better interest rate and a better opportunity for growth over time for our retirement. Right now is the best time I've ever seen it. And I've done this a long time, folks. So please feel free to bring those contracts in with you. Schedule a time, schedule a call with us. Let us review what you have and see if there's something that's better that can help improve your retirement. Refinance that retirement if you have an annuity out there, or you have some bonds. A lot of people own a lot of bonds, and when the interest rates started to go up, those bond prices started to go down, and a lot of frustration there, because there's an inverse relationship in bond prices depending on interest rates, right? So if you're in bond portfolios that have not really performed that well, there may be some better bond portfolios now that the rates are higher. But most of the time what I see is I see these advisors just putting you in a blanket of bonds, right? And they really don't look to do anything. They buy and hold these long-term bonds, and in some cases, you need to sell those losers and go for the higher ones, right? I mean, these are your retirement savings that you need to make sure your advisor is proactive to not just let you sit there and make their fees or commissions. Let's look at an advisor that's going to shop better bonds for you, especially with a higher interest rate environment.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So much to unpack there. And I think it's a really interesting concept, Glenn, because typically when people hear the term refinance, they think of being in a lower interest rate environment.
Yes.
And you want to do things like refinance your home or refinance your car when interest rates are lower. But to your point, for the last several years, we have been in a higher interest rate environment, which means there's this unique window of opportunity to really make a difference with this fixed income, which we know is really attractive to a lot of folks, especially who are entering and nearing retirement.
Absolutely, and a lot of us will have these annuities as more of a protection against market risk, right? Some types of guarantees, and we all want guarantees, right? But the guarantees today that I've seen, I haven't seen this good in years, folks, in years, right? So, so many of us, we procrastinate. You're going to be watching the show here today and you're going to say, honey, I've got a couple of annuities. Maybe we should call in and have Glenn and his team review these to see if there's something better. But you know what? Tomorrow's going to come by and you're going to go, let's go play some golf. Or, a week from now, you're going to forget even seeing our show. So be proactive. Make that phone call. Schedule a time to have those reviewed. And in a lot of cases, people are literally blown away. They can't believe how much better these annuities are today, very simply because the life insurance companies are making so much more off of our money in these higher interest rates and long-term bonds. And the other thing as well is a lot of people that are in CDs, we're happy because the rates are a little higher. Money markets are higher. But the problem is banks and CDs focus primarily on short-term debt instruments, right? Treasuries, lower yields, where the life insurance companies look at longer-term bonds, which could possibly be higher yields. So you'll get a longer term with a life insurance company at a higher yield than you will still sitting inside a CD or a bank. And we actually had a client the other day that their CD was going to renew. And of course, now the interest rates are starting to come down, right? So when the interest rates are starting to come down, some of those plans and those guarantees are going to be reducing as well. So that's why we are so busy right now, because this is the perfect time to look and see if there's something better, lock in those long-term higher interest rates to help improve your retirement.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think, again, we've been in this higher interest rate environment for the last couple of years, but we know the Fed has already started to lower rates. We hear always rumblings of more lowering happening in the future. But to your point, if someone were to go ahead and refinance, maybe get into a different annuity contract right now, they can actually lock in at that higher rate. And then when interest rates do come down, they'll still maintain that rate, correct?
That's the benefit. Where money market rates, CD rates are more short-term rates. I want long-term growth to my money, and I like the guarantees that it provides. And what's really unique today as well is a lot of these life insurance companies that are making more money on their money, right, or on our money and providing us better returns. A lot of these life insurance companies understand that many of you out there have annuities that have charges to get out of, right?
Those surrender charges,
Surrender charges. And a lot of people are thinking, I just can't get out of this darn thing that's not performed that well. Well, let me tell you something. Some of these insurance companies have these things called bonuses, which could help with the coverage of cost to leave the old plan. And in a lot of cases, people are even ahead based on moving those funds. Even though they have to pay a penalty, some of these bonuses help you recoup the cost of the penalty and put you ahead moving forward. And that's very, very important.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you mentioned that, a lot of advisors out there maybe aren't having these kinds of conversations with their clients, but I know you are, and you're seeing the result, right? I mean, you're able to see this day in and day out of what you're able to do for folks as they refinance their retirements. Any stories come to mind of someone recently that you've been able to help do that?
Absolutely. There are income annuities which have these things called income riders. Now, those are a specialty in some of these annuities that many advisors never even share with a client. What I like to do is I like to say, hey, how would you like to know the exact dollar amount that you're going to receive on a yearly or monthly basis at year 1, year 5, year 10, whenever you want to turn on that income, which is basically a pension, which many of you have heard of that. It's a guaranteed lifetime income that comes in for me and comes in for my spouse that no matter what is always going to be there for us, right? How many of you would like to know the exact amount of income you're going to receive at a certain period of time? Those are called guarantees. Those are what I like to look at. And of course, the guarantees are provided by the claims paying ability of the life insurance company. So you have to review those life insurance companies, make sure they're safe and sound. And those are the kind of things we provide you with information on. But I like to know exactly what the dollar amount is I'm going to receive. And many of you have got these older annuities, and you've got these illustrations in advance that say hypothetical, 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 and they haven't performed. And you're saying, gosh, I really thought I'd have this income at this year 10. I was depending on this, and this is not making the mark. This isn't doing it. What do I need to do? I need to refinance that annuity. I need to find another company that is going to get me out of that contract, take care of those charges if there are some, and put me into something that is guaranteed, that I know what I'm going to get at a certain age and time, so I can predict and look at my future retirement and say, this is an income source that I'm going to need, because if I pass away, my spouse is losing income, right? So, and I'm not saying I'm going to go 10 years from now, I'll feel longer than that, but I like to know exactly, if something ever happens to me, here's this income source to support my spouse.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So much goodness that you've shared so far. I know we've got more to get to on today's show, but this is a great opportunity. If you would like help in figuring out if it's possible for you to refinance your retirement, this is one of the reasons why Glenn and the team of Big Financial Services would love to be able to have you come in and meet with you so that you can receive your very own complimentary written financial plan. Again, this is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. It's simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how they can help and serve you. That number to call to schedule your complimentary review is 888-503-7408. Or if you'd rather connect online, if you simply pull out your smartphone, you can open up that camera app, just point, click, and scan that QR code that you see there down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you over to a landing page, ask you a few short, simple questions, and then a member of the team from Big Financial Services will reach out to connect with you to schedule your complimentary meeting that way as well. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more to discuss today on the episode of Refinancing Your Retirement right after this.
Do you currently own an annuity? Are you aware of what type of annuity you own? For years, annuities have been a cornerstone of retirement planning, but they're not all created equal, and unfortunately, your current annuity may not be serving your retirement goals as planned. The good news is that rising interest rates could mean better guarantees in some cases, as well as better benefits for you. In short, more income, possibly in the future. Is your annuity up to date with the new market conditions? You see, I like to look at annuities similar to like a CD in a bank. The last 10, 15 years, you were lucky to get 1% on a CD, but today if you go into a bank, they're much, much higher, which means that you may be able to get better interest rates on your annuities with better benefits, better rates, better guarantees, better income for your family. So please sit down with us, schedule a time to see if your old annuity measures up to the new annuities that are available. Call now for your complimentary annuity review. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back to the Big Money Show. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, here with the president of Big Financial Services, Glenn Cummings. And today we are discussing refinancing your retirement. What does that mean? And most importantly, what does it mean for you and for putting yourself in potentially a better financial situation in the future? Glenn, you shared so much wisdom and knowledge in the first segment of today's show, helping folks understand why now is the time to really look at where they're invested, different opportunities to refinance, meaning while interest rates are higher, to get a better deal for themselves and their money. You mentioned income riders, and I know that's just one of many different rider options that often exist on these types of fixed guaranteed income annuity products.
Sure.
Do you mind sharing a little bit more about the different riders that are available and what those could potentially do for folks?
Sure. A lot of us, the primary concern is income in retirement. So while you're working, you're able to make an income, right? If it's not enough, you go find another job, right? But when we are done working, income is the king.
Yes,
right?
It's all about income.
It's all about income, making sure that income comes in and making sure that no matter what, it never goes away. So that's really called a pension, which is or an annuity. And a lot of people don't realize a lot of pensions that people receive are through life insurance companies that are making sure those payments are always received. And I'm financially in good shape moving forward, as well as my spouse.
Right.
But there is a problem called inflation, and inflation is a big problem because almost everything we have doubles really every 10 years, okay? Food, gas, long-term care is a big one, right? So 74% of us over the age of 65 are going to need some type of long-term care based on some studies that have been shown. I've dealt with my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my mom, 15 years of taking care of sick family in my own home, me paying for the nursing care, me helping with getting them up and down the stairs, going in and out of their restrooms. I mean, it was very, very difficult on my family for 15 years. It was a burden, right? The problem was, as my father-in-law, when he got sick with cancer, spent all of his money that he had in savings that was supposed to go to my mother-in-law, right? He spent all that money on care for himself to try to fight the cancer he had.
Right.
And Medicare only covered certain types of chemotherapies. He wanted to try the experimental therapies because the chemo wasn't working. Those experimental, therapies cost money out of his pocket, right? So 4 years later, God takes him home. My mother-in-law, she lost the money that he had in savings because it all went to that cost. And she lost his pension. It was devastating to her. And then she ended up getting sick with Alzheimer's for 4 long years, right? So these kind of things are happening all the time. And long-term care is very expensive. Some of these plans that are available today are just incredible plans. I've never seen better plans than what's available today. Some of these plans, remember we talked earlier about an income annuity, that we can say, hey, we put this much money in by this date and time, here's how much annually my wife and I will get no matter what the rest of our lives. Some of those plans, if you were sick, and there's usually a 2 or 3 year waiting period, right, before you can activate this, but they will double that annual income. So if your income, we'll say, is $50,000 a year, 10 years from now, we put you in a plan that's guaranteed, and it doubles to $100,000 a year for 5 long years to help either me or my spouse with our long-term care cost. That's very powerful. And a lot of these plans don't have a physical or exam. Right?
To qualify for them.
To qualify.
Yeah,
I mean, these are
huge.
plans that are available. But guess what? If you don't have that plan and no one has shared with you that plan, if you don't know the guaranteed side of investing, you need to call our office because these are things that a lot of accumulation advisors never share. They'll say, oh, you've got this big pot of money, it'll cover all your long-term care cost. I don't like to take that risk.
No, because it can get wiped out. It is so expensive. I mean, what's the average cost in the Tampa Bay area for folks with long-term care?
Well,
right
I mean,
now?
the average cost today is between $8,000 to $10,000 a month. And the problem is those costs are doubling every 10 years. So if 10 years from now I get sick, it could be $15,000 to $20,000 per month. It will devastate my spouse.
Right.
So having plans in place that I'm not saying aren't going to be used, right? God may take me home in my sleep, okay? My best friend, my pastor that lived in the Brandon area, he went to sleep and God took him home. That's how I would like to go. I'm sure many of you would like to go the same way. We don't want to become a burden. But when I had back surgery a few years ago, after helping my mom, I picked her up off the floor, literally, when she was sick with breast cancer. And when I picked her up off the floor, because she had fallen that night, I ruptured the disc in my back. I was overweight. I was unhealthy because I had had 15 years of taking care of my family. And I finally got surgery, and now I'm in great shape today. Thank God I got the surgery. But the point of the matter is that is a burden. We don't want to have a burden on our families and our kids especially, or on our spouses. So I'll build these plans that are there just in case that hurricane comes through. Right? Or that flood comes through. You know, flood insurance, homeowners insurance, car insurance is all there in case that were to happen. But if 70+% of us are going to need some type of care in the future, that's a pretty high probability of something we need to plan for.
Yes.
And that's something that a lot of advisors don't plan for that at all.
Right.
And here's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is, let's assume that I use that, $50,000 a year and it doubles to $100,000 a year for 5 years. And let's assume that my wife uses that on me and there's no money left in the account. If that was the case of my money being a bank, and there's no money left, or being in a brokerage account and there's no money left, what does my wife have left over for income the rest of her life?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's gone.
And some of these contracts, when they go to zero, you're not out of income. It then goes back to the $50,000 per year to make sure my wife is taken care of as long as she's alive.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that plan, folks? If you haven't, you need to have your eyes open. Come into the office. Let's have a fresh cup of coffee. I've got a beautiful office, oak trees everywhere, a big screen computer, and we can work up examples. We can give you, illustrations that show you how these things work. Take them home, learn them, study them, and it's not a one meeting with us, Kristen. It's 2, 3, 4 meetings because I have to make sure you understand and you're comfortable. But when I see guaranteed, here's what my income is, guaranteed, here's what the long-term care is if I need to execute this. Of course, there's always parameters, that you have to look at and you have to qualify for it. But I don't have to take a physical or exam, right? When you look at that, you're going to be blown away. So yeah, please give us a call. Let's get together and share those plans with you if that's a concern, because it's a concern for a lot of us.
Glenn, thank you so much for sharing that detailed example and understanding. And if any of this is resonating with you, if you want to have a solid plan in place to help you be prepared for the unexpected, then we encourage you to pick up the phone and call that number you see on the bottom of your screen. It's completely complimentary to come in and have as many meetings as it takes, as Glenn shared, to receive your complimentary written financial plan. 888-503-7408 is that number to call. Or again, you're also welcome to scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. We'll be back with more on The Big Money Show right after this.
So you own a 401k, you have an IRA, you have a tax-deferred account, an account where you put in pre-tax dollars, and it grew tax-deferred, and it's grown to quite a bit of money. And then you reach this ripe old age of required minimum distributions, where the government requires you to take out money, a percentage of that account. And as you get older, they require you to take a larger percentage of that account that is 100% fully taxable to you at ordinary income tax rates. I see this all the time. Families are completely devastated, but now they're forced to take those distributions. What do? We look at Roth conversions, folks. Roth conversions give you the opportunity to get out of those tax-deferred IRA accounts. Look at a Roth conversion. Are these easy to do? No. Sit down with someone today and figure out, hey, what's my option that's available to get me out of this large taxable account? What are the options available? We can share that with you. Please give our office a call.
Well, welcome back to The Big Money Show, where today we are talking all about refinancing your retirement and what that could mean and look like for you. And of course, we talked about earlier, Glenn, the importance of taking advantage of this higher interest rate environment.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of better and new products out there that folks can lock in while interest rates are high, so that when rates continue to come down, you can still have that guarantee, and that can be a huge game changer for your retirement. Another area that folks can refi their retirement, if you will, is by taking dollars that are set to be always taxed and moving it to the never taxed again bucket, right?
Yes, absolutely. Many of us have 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, pre-taxed accounts, and they're a major problem for you. You don't realize how big of a problem it is, but it's a big tax problem potentially in the future, because every dollar that you take out of these accounts is fully taxed at ordinary income rates. I just mentioned that a second ago in our little ad there, or a little spot there. But here's the point. If I want to see what my potential future tax problems are going to be, we have this proprietary tax calculator that is insane. I love it because I'm able to put in how much money I have in IRAs, my current age, I'm able to put my average rate of growth on my account, and it will show us what my tax liabilities are today at lower tax rates,
right,
and what the possibility is of them growing to if I don't take care of this tax problem.
Yes.
So with this tax calculator, it's completely no charge to you. You literally go right on and you click a few buttons, and within I think it's 10 minutes total, you'll have an entire report emailed to you. And once you see that, it's going to blow you away. I've had people that have got that report they've ended up going and taking it to their CPA, and their CPA is like, where'd you get this from?
Yeah.
Well, that's this guy on TV, you know, the Big Money Show guy. Oh, I've seen that guy. Okay, great. Well, let's set up a meeting with him. I have no problem setting up a meeting with you and your tax person. I mean, it doesn't matter. We need to try to get rid of these tax problems.
Yes, for sure. So we're going to put that site up for you on the bottom of the screen, the tax calculator site. If you visit bigtaxbill.com, you can go there right now. You can also click that QR code that will take you directly to this landing page. Again, as Glenn mentioned, it's just going to ask you for a little bit of information, your name, how much money you have in tax deferred accounts, what your rate of return you expect to receive, as well as your current tax bracket, and boom, instantly, you're going to be able to see side by side what the government's current tax plan is for you if you do nothing versus how much you could potentially save in taxes over the long haul if you engage in some of these tax saving strategies. And then to your point, they're going to receive a really detailed report to their email. Again, completely complimentary. And
can we put the studio under pressure? Guys, can you try to just pop up that one slide for us, please, if you could? You've got to see one of these slides, Kristen. You've got to see, oh, there it is, right there.
Side by side, yep.
This is, so a $500,000 qualified account at a 25% tax liability with just averaging 8% rate of return. If people were to pay the taxes today, get rid of the IRS, get rid of that silent partner that's always going to be around forever, $125,000 estimated in taxes compared to $1.6 million. When's the best time to get rid of your silent partner? Right now, right? So you need to look into this. Please get your phone out. Let's get together, folks. And I'll let you finish up, Kristen.
No,
this has been such a great show.
I know. It's such an...
I'm so excited. I'm having a blast with you.
I always have a blast with you as well. But this concept of refinancing your retirement, again, you know, we started off today's show by talking about taking advantage of the higher interest rates. We're also helping you understand how if you visit that tax bill calculator, you can see, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee those numbers, the difference between if you do nothing versus if you take some proactive action now. But I think another thing to point out, Glenn, is that a lot of people might have something like an existing annuity contract or some sort of plan in place, but they really don't know what they have going on. And you are willing to provide a second opinion, completely complimentary. Now, if someone comes to you and everything's on track and it looks like it's in good shape, how does the conversation go from there?
Well, most of the time, a lot of people do have some things in order, but a few things may be out of order. As an independent fiduciary, we're going to look over everything and give you the best opinion, the best advice we can. And if you feel comfortable working with us, and we have to feel comfortable working with you as well.
It's a two-way street, right?
It's a two-way street. You're going to be with us a very long time, you know, and my team is fantastic. You're going to love all of them once you come on board with us. But yeah, we can definitely have that second opinion. You know, be selfish. I always say be selfish. Be selfish. You know, take your investments, take your stuff, and have someone do a second opinion to see what you're in, see if there are things that could be better for you. Be selfish. Don't just stay where you are. Get a second opinion. People do it to me all the time as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you can't get a second opinion from the same person who gave you the first, right?
Wow.
So that's the important.
I'm hiring you. I'm hiring you.
But really, at the end of the day, it's about putting you in a potentially better situation for your financial future. What could that mean for you? Better income, better opportunities, less tax, right? So much goes into this. We invite you to pick up the phone and call that number you see on the bottom of your screen to schedule your complimentary meeting with Glenn and the team of Big Financial Services, 888-503-7408. Or again, you're welcome to scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to being back with you next time here on The Big Money Show.